Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. So, I am actually recording back to back episodes today because I'm going out of town in a couple of weeks. So I'm trying to get ahead. So, if you're watching me on video, you're going to be wondering why I'm wearing the same outfit. It's because I'm recording 2 weeks worth of episodes at once. So, today I want to talk about kind of the control that we get to have over our lives and our happiness, right? That sounds so huge and awesome, but I'm going to break it down. So I think that all too often we forget that we have some control. And this control is something that really, really can make the difference between feeling good and feeling kind of yucky and bad, or just no change in our lives, feeling stuck. And I want to talk about the little things that we do have control over and the big impact that they can have on our lives. So I'm pulling this topic out of recent conversations that I've been having with clients. And I feel like I always say that, but it's true. So a lot of people that I talk to have this, maybe this low level discontent, just unfulfilled. They don't really feel like there's anything in their lives that makes them feel fantastic. There may not be anything really bad happening, but there aren't really fantastic things that they feel excited about. Life is just kind of same thing every day. No, nothing really motivating or exciting. And it's interesting because when I talk to people about this, a lot of the times it ends up in the same exact conversation, which is, okay, well, what do you want to change? Like, what do you wish you were doing? How do you wish you were spending your days differently? And usually those, people that I have conversations with can tell me exactly what those things are. They say, well, I wish I could do, more of this or more of that. And sometimes they don't know how to start that conversation. So I ask questions like, well, what would you do differently with work? What would you do differently with home, your relationship, your kids, whatever. And that's where we get kind of the meat of the conversation is there. But what's interesting is very rarely is the answer, like the things that they wish they could do, very rarely are those things not doable. They're usually very doable, they're very realistic, and it just comes down to a lack of motivation or a lack of confidence about starting something that they haven't been doing in a long time or ever. Um, or just not knowing how to start, really just not sitting long enough to think about these things until they're having a conversation with me about it. But the reality is that by making little additions to our day or changes to our day, we have the capacity to completely alter our day. And this sounds very cheerleadery, maybe kind of annoying, but it's true. I'm going to sit here and tell you that you could do more. I can do more. All of us. I'm not pointing the finger at you specifically, all of us. And it's such basic stuff. Like if you know that you enjoy reading, but you haven't read forever, or you have a show you want to watch, but you don't make time for it, or you have a friend that you wish you could talk to, or a parent that you haven't seen, or you just want to get out of the house to go do something, why not? And you can sit here right now and make all the excuses about why you don't have time for this or that. And that's fine, you can do that. But at the end of the day, there is some time somewhere. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but maybe on a different day, you can look ahead and say, you know what, I have a little pocket of time there. I'm going to schedule myself to go do this thing, or I'm just going to block it out so I can sit at home and do this thing, and I'm not going to plan anything else. But so often people are just going from day to day, and there isn't really a lot of planning involved or forethought for, what do I want to do differently to have a better day tomorrow? Or what can I do to be a little less irritated because it's the same old thing every single day? And when I force people to have that conversation, there's usually a complete plan at the end of it of like, okay, this is how I can incorporate this. This is how I can do it. It might only be one time this week. Or, you know what, I could actually do this every day, but I'm probably going to have to start waking up a little bit earlier or go to bed a little bit later, or, I'm probably going to have to move this thing around or spend less time doing this thing. And before you know it, we found a way to make something work. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you can change everything. It's not possible. You still have a family or kids or a job or whatever. And I know firsthand there's tons of stuff I wish I had time to do, but it doesn't get fit in. Sometimes because it's not a priority, sometimes because life is just too busy, sometimes because, I don't know, it takes planning and I just haven't gotten around to it. So, this is your opportunity. This is your time to really decide what is it that you find yourself either internally or externally complaining about or feeling really irritated about because you wish you could do this and you never get to do it, or, there's too many other things that you're running around doing. What is that? What are the things that if you could do them, if you could incorporate them into your day, you would feel a little bit better, or you would feel more fulfilled, or you would feel like it broke up the day and made it less monotonous and less boring, all of that. So, that is your task. Your task is to try to give yourself the attention that you need to give yourself, where you actively try to make your life better. You actively try to make your life more fulfilled, where you are not just watching the time fly by, where there's nothing in your life that is growing you or just entertaining you in a way that doesn't benefit anyone else, but just something for you. It could be a hobby, it could be whatever, anything. I don't care what it is, just whatever it is. And then you never know, you could start doing this as just a fun thing that you do with some free time, or you might find that you can actually nurture this into something that you spend more time doing. It could become a side business, it could become a new, something that you work towards as a new career. But most of the time it's probably just going to be super small, like the 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever that you did, and that really felt good to you and it helped you feel kind of excited about your day. And then the key is planning ahead so that you can look forward to it. Because if you wake up and there's nothing about today that excites you, then that's just not very fun. But if you wake up and you're like, hey, today's the day where I blocked out an hour to go do this thing or to sit here and watch my show, that is so small, but you will be amazed at the impact it will have on your day. And this is why I said earlier I'm being the annoying cheerleader, because it sounds so silly and it sounds so small, but just try it. If you try it and it doesn't work out, give me a call, shoot me an email or a text, and yell at me. But I'm telling you right now, life is made up of little things. It's the little things that we do to brighten our day, to make us feel good, but we are responsible for it. And all too often, I hear people complain that, well, they know I love to do this, but they'll never plan it with me. Or, my spouse, when they plan dates, they never plan the kinds of things I want to do. Okay, well, participate, plan it with them, make a suggestion, or you know what? Just take over the planning. Like it's different for every situation, but be involved in your life. Do something that makes you feel better, because a lot of people find themselves feeling, down, and some have told me they're actually feeling depressed because there's nothing in their life that makes them happy. But when you're in that state of mind, you can't always see that the solutions aren't very difficult. So it sometimes takes someone on the outside to sit you down and kind of just force you to dedicate time to that, because we're just used to having the feeling. We're not used to doing something about the feeling. And I don't usually, like, all I do is facilitate it. I'm just asking the right questions. I'm calling you out when you're making excuses, but it always goes well. And in the end, you will find yourself in a place where you are taking control. And the reason that it feels good is because you created that plan. I just walked you through it. If I'm like, hey, every day I want you to do this, 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 you're going to be so annoyed by that. You're not going to want to do it. And it's going to be my plan, not yours. But if you sit down and you work on figuring out what it is that would make your life a little bit happier, then you're going to be more excited about doing it. It'll be something that you legitimately enjoy. And then you can decide if you want to, give it the attention that it requires or that it deserves, or if you're just going to go back to the way you were doing things. And if you do, then you're choosing to go back to not feeling great. And that's that accountability piece. That's the part where when I say I call people out, it's stuff like that where I'm like, okay, well, if you told me that you love doing these things and we've identified that you have the time for it and we work things around for it, but you're not doing it, I can't, I mean, you're going to have to face that. You're going to have to decide if, is it someone else's fault? Is it your fault? What are we going to do about it? And it's not to make you feel bad, it's to help you be an active player in your life. Do it. Do the thing that makes you happy. It's not going to happen on its own. It's not going to improve on its own. And again, I'm talking about the little things. I'm not talking about the life altering decisions that'll make you happy. I'm talking about the little things that you can do. If it's waking up 15 minutes earlier, just so you have time to do your hair and your makeup, or to get your quick workout in. It doesn't have to be this major change. Some people have it in their mind that if they're going to work out, well, they need an hour. Why? If your options are 0 or an hour, okay, that might be hard to pick between. But what about 5 minutes? What about 10 minutes? Why does it have to be a certain way for you to do it? It doesn't. That's just either something you've picked up from someone else or an expectation you've set on yourself that doesn't apply anymore. Before you had kids, if you used to work out for an hour every day, fantastic. But now if you have kids and you're like, well, I don't have time to do that anymore, so I just don't work out. Okay. Or you can modify it, find a different way to do a short workout. It doesn't even have to be structured. Do some jumping jacks, do some push-ups, run in place. I don't care, whatever it is. But we are all fantastic. I mean, I'm so guilty of this. We're so good at justifying why we don't have time to do things. And I've talked to you about that. One of the early episodes I did was about making time and how we always use that as an excuse. We don't have time. And I will tell you that since I've changed the way that I look at that, I don't whine about it anymore. I'm still super busy. I still don't have time for a lot of stuff, but I've learned to prioritize differently. And at the very least, I've just learned to catch myself from whining about it. Even if the situation hasn't changed and I still am so busy that I don't have time for stuff, I've learned not to complain and not to make that the thing that I use as an excuse when something doesn't get done. No, hey, you know what? That wasn't a priority. I'd love to do it. I'm annoyed that I couldn't do it. But you know what? Today, the other things that I did, spending time with my family, those were more important. So it didn't get done. Oh well, you have to make the time, but you have to change the expectation. If you are used to doing something a certain way, your life doesn't allow you to do that anymore, make a change, because that thing was so important to you and it maybe was the difference between you having a good day and a bad day. Find a way to modify it, find a way to do it where it's not, doesn't look the same, but it still has the same impact or the same outcome on your day. So there's so many, I'm hoping that you've got some ideas popping in your mind about what that would be for you, whether it's something health related, entertainment related, hobby related, self-care related, appearance related, whatever it is. That's important. I know for me, there are certain things that if they're not done every day, say for appearance, okay, I'm not gonna feel good about myself. I have a routine, and if I don't fulfill that, I'm going to feel the difference. Other people may not notice it. It may not look a whole lot different to someone on the outside, but to me, it's the difference between me feeling confident and not feeling confident. And that's important to me. It may not be important to someone else, so that's not going to be on their list of things to do for themselves. I'm going to do that for myself because it makes me feel good. Whatever it is for you, if it's the certain breakfast, the certain phone call, the whatever it is, you need to figure out what makes you happy. You need to figure out what will improve your day even by 1%. Do it. Find a way to incorporate it. You are responsible for that. And, this is that where I get to be mean and say, I don't hear any excuses, because we all are responsible for that. And it doesn't have to look a certain way. I have no expectations for whatever it is you're doing. I don't care if it's, like I said, one thing for 5 minutes once a week. Whatever it is, raise the bar a little bit. Raise the quality of your life a little bit in whatever way that might look. It's up to you. But when you're doing things for yourself and when you're not, And if you have a friend or a family member that is easy to talk to about this stuff and will hold you accountable, give them a call and say, hey, from now on, I need you to bug me, every other day, ask me if I've done this, or every day or once a week, check in with me. Hey, did you eat breakfast today? Hey, did you do the thing with the friend that you said you wanted to do? Or did you make that phone call that you really knew would make you feel better because that person you haven't talked to in a while? Did you read the book you've been waiting to read? Did you watch the show you've been wanting to watch? Whatever it is, have some support. There's no harm in that. And if you mess up and you don't get it done, shake it off, try again tomorrow. Don't beat yourself up, but make an effort. Put it on your planner or your calendar or your reminder or whatever it is that you use. But I need you to participate in your life. For you to have a happy, fulfilled life, you have to participate. You have to make plans. You have to hold yourself accountable, and you need to make it happen so that progress and change and improvement take place in your life. So I'm going to wrap up here. It's a little bit of a shorter episode, but message has been delivered. Hopefully you got it. And then I want, I always love hearing stories. So if you got something to share for this and you want to tell me how this helped you, I always love hearing that. I want to hear the changes that you've made. I want to hear the improvement that you've made. Go for it. And then on a very unrelated note, I've been playing around with maybe adding like a jingle to my intro, like a little music. So still searching for the right one, but I just want to make it more fun. So if at some point you hear an intro with music, just know that that's because I've been looking for one. So hopefully it won't shock you when it's there, but I might pick one and not like it and then change it. But just want to add some more fun and upbeat kind of intro to this podcast. So, all right, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.